Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise and remain standing for the processional as we receive the graduating class of 2018. President Rankin, the Faculty Chair of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, Dr. Rod Rice, has installed the mace. Please lead the procession of faculty and platform guests. Welcome to the 177th commencement of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. As we convene this commencement, please remain standing for the posting of the colors by the Army ROTC Color Guard. Gentlemen, please remove your hats.
Permission to post colors?
Post the colors. Please be seated. It is my honor to introduce our university's president, Dr. Jim Rankin. Dr. Rankin returned to the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology to serve as the university's 19th president on January 8, 2018. Originally from Draper and Fort Pierre, Dr. Rankin graduated from SD Mines in 1978 with a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. He went on to earn master's and doctoral degrees in electrical engineering from Iowa State University. Dr. Rankin is joined by his wife, Dr. Wendy Rankin. Please welcome President Jim Rankin.
Thank all of you for joining us on this special day as we celebrate the educational achievements of 302 baccalaureates, 75 masters, and 6 doctoral students. I particularly want to welcome the families of our graduates. It took a lot of hard work for our students to make it to this day, and most of them didn't do it alone. Thank you for all the support, guidance, and encouragement you have provided to our students during their time. At each commencement ceremony, we take time to honor alumni who have distinguished themselves in their professions and their communities. If Mr. Newland would please rise. Stephen Newland currently serves as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Univar, a premier global chemical distributor he has led since May of 2016. He previously served as Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer of PolyOne Corporation from 2006 to 2014, and Executive Chairman of the Board until May of 2016. He also served as President, Industrial Sector at Ecolab Incorporated from 2004 to 2006. Prior to Ecolab, he spent 24 years at Nelco Chemical Company in positions of increasing responsibility, ultimately serving as President, Chief Operating Officer, and Vice Chairman. Steve has been active in business and civic governance and leadership. He currently serves on the boards of Univar, Oshkosh Corporation, and the Chemours Company. In the past, he has served on the boards of Nelco, Velspar, and Black Hills Corporation. Steve also served on the board of directors of the National Association of Manufacturers and the Great Lakes Science Center, as well as the Board of Governors for Firestone Country Club. Steve is a proud alumnus of the South Dakota School of Mines, where he earned a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. He regards his time at the School of Mines and Triangle Fraternity as formative, life-enriching experiences, and he is grateful for the many lifelong relationships he established while here. He is a past recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award and was inducted into Triangle Fraternity's Men of the Century and Wall of Fame. Steve also completed the Tuck Executive Program at Dartmouth College, as well as Harvard Business School's Advanced Management Program. He has also served as a commissioned officer in the U.S. Public Health Service. The South Dakota School of Mines and Technology is honored to recognize Steve's many contributions to our university and to his profession with the awarding of an honorary degree. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by action of the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon Stephen D. Newland the honorary degree, Doctor of Public Service, with all of the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the responsibilities thereto appertaining. At this time, I would like to welcome Dr. Larry Simonson, a 1969 electrical engineering graduate of the School of Mines and director of our Alumni Association. Dr. Simonson will introduce this year's March medalist.
Thank you, President Rankin. The Guy March Medal was established in 1975 to honor the service Dr. March provided to the students, faculty, staff, and alumni of the South Dakota School of Mines Technology. Guy March graduated from the School of Mines in 1922 with a degree in electrical engineering and served as a professor of mathematics until the mid-1960s when he started the Alumni Association and served as its director until 1981. The March Medal is awarded annually to a graduate who exemplifies the spirit of Dr. March through positive interaction with students, the institution, and Mines alumni. The caring spirit of Guy March is a hallmark of this School of Mines that has been handed down over the decades and continues to benefit current students. This year's Guy March Silver Medalist is Mr. Scott Rausch. There's a very nice bio for Scott Rausch in the graduation program. I would like to share a few words about how Scott has exemplified the spirit of Guy March, a person with whom Scott worked when he was a student at Tech. Scott is well known for the aircraft simulator that he and his students built. This experience gave our students a distinct advantage over students from other universities when interviewing with aerospace companies. Many students chose Mines because of the department tours that Scott provided during their first visit to our university. Some of those students are graduating today. And some of those students have accepted positions at aerospace companies because of the guidance they received from Scott Rausch. Because of his passion for the students and his technical expertise, Scott was selected to be interim head for the electrical engineering department in February 2015 and served in that position until 2017. He led the department's successful ABET accreditation visit in 2016. Professor Emeritus Dr. Michael Batchelder was a brand new professor at the School of Mines in 1974. Scott Rausch was a student in the very first class that he taught. Professor Batchelder remembers, it was clear then that Scott had a great career ahead. He was a good student, active in student government, and active in student organizations. It was a pleasure to work with Scott in the ECE department these many years later. It is right that Scott received the March Medal for his many vital contributions to the South Dakota School of Mines Technology. Andrew Jenkins, an electrical engineering graduate 3 years ago, writes, Mr. Rausch does an amazing job for working with all students who come to him. No matter how small the concept or how large the project, he is always happy to help. Each semester, he offers a series of seminars to help students learn about the power industry. Those seminars made a huge contribution to my interviews and are a major reason I received an internship in the power industry. I credit my first electrical engineering experience and the beginning of my career to Professor Rausch. His guidance has been paramount to my success at Mines and in industry. In summary, Scott Rausch has been very active at the School of Mines and other organizations in South Dakota and the Black Hills area during the 17 years since retirement. A quote from Scott, "It has certainly been a pleasure to work with outstanding students, alumni, faculty, and staff at the School of Mines, especially since Linda and I retired back to South Dakota. I am thankful to have supported the university and the electrical and computer engineering department, which have been such an important part of my life and my career." Scott has two very special guests in the audience today. His wife Linda, a chemical engineering graduate from 1975, and his mother Dorothy. Dorothy was also in the graduation audience 43 years ago when Scott received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating this year's Guy March medalist, Scott Rausch. It is now a privilege to recognize the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology alumni who are celebrating 50 years since they graduated from Mines. Their professional and personal contributions to society are the foundation of the reputation of the university. Some of these alumni have not been together since they graduated 50 years ago. I can attest to the fact that they have thoroughly enjoyed the last 2 days sharing life experiences and remembering some of their cherished moments on our campus and in Rapid City. 170 students graduated in 1968. We are privileged to have 29 of them with us today. After I call your name, please remain standing until all of your classmates have been introduced. Audience, please hold your applause until all names have been read. Marty Amble, Wayne Binfit, Jim Boren, Brad Bradfield, Jay Brewster, Jim Crouch, Jim Dieters, Bob Dominic, Sid Hansen, Mike Hobler, Don Holsworth, Ron Jeitz, Jim Kyle, Jim Kotis, Dennis Krause, Ray Cub, Bill Larson, Jim Munson, Jim Newharth, Steve Nordocker, Craig Nordby, Pat Quinney, Jerry Reese, Sam Rakusik, Jim Sittner, Ren Stevens, Richard Storm, John Seinhorst, Dwayne Utek. Did I miss anybody? We thank you for joining us today. May the success you have enjoyed in your lives and careers serve as a model for us all, especially for today's graduates who are prepared to embark on their own life journeys. Please be seated. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce the representative of our senior class, Gina Elmore, a candidate for bachelor's degree in civil engineering with a minor in environmental engineering from Hot Springs, South Dakota. Gina served as a student senator her freshman, sophomore, and senior years, and was selected as the student senate president her junior year. She is a member of Alpha Omega Epsilon Professional Engineering Sorority and served as their candidate initiation officer this year. She participated in the student chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineers in various ways, including the Steel Bridge Team and assisting with logistics for this year's regional competition. She is also a member of Phi Eta Sigma Freshman Honor Society and Order of Omega Greek Honor Society. This semester, she was also inducted into the South Dakota Mines Leadership Hall of Fame. Throughout her time at Mines, Gina has participated in many service and philanthropy events, including the Adopt a Highway Cleanup Program, Mines Buddies, Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, the STEMinist 3K Run, and many others. She has served as an orientation leader and has been involved with the Class Gift Committee. Off campus, Gina completed internships for American Engineering Testing, Barrick Gold, and Nucor Steel. After graduation, she will spend 4 weeks in the Peruvian rainforest on a jungle conservation volunteer trip. After Peru, she will be returning to Nucor Steel as an environmental engineer in Norfolk, Nebraska. Please join me in welcoming this year's student speaker, Gina Elmore.
Good morning, everyone. Why did this scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Thank you. When I was told that I was chosen to be up here today, I felt kind of like that scarecrow, just picked out of the field. But knowing that I wanted to represent us well, I immediately did what any good mind student does and conducted some research. I grabbed some coffee and a notebook and settled down for a long study session. Then I opened my computer and I went to YouTube. I caught up on the episode of Boy Meets World where Sean sends off his class of fellow graduates. I watched the episode of Gilmore Girls where Rory gives a nod to her mother and literature, two of the things that got her through school. I realized that, just like Sean with his friends or Rory with her literature and her family, each of us have a few things that got us through school. Each of us has our own story. And so, like Rory and Sean, I choose to reflect on memories of two important events that shaped and influenced me to this point in my life. The first memory happened when I was 10 years old. I grew up on a ranch, and in the summertime, it's a safe bet to assume that some type of work is involved. This day, we were hauling hay. The horse hay we got in small square bales. They were about 1.5 feet by 3 feet rectangular cubes that weighed around 70 pounds. My dad is an efficient man. He's where I get my love of systems, logistics, and engineering. He always has a plan to complete the job, and his plan this day involved my sister throwing the bales off of the trailer and me taking the hay to my dad, who stacked them in the barn. Of course, I thought my job was the hardest. My sister and my dad got to stand in one place, and I had to walk all the way from the trailer to the barn, which had a doorstep that was impossibly tall. To carry the hay over it, I would heave it up on my legs and use my knees to step it through the door. I started strong, but the hay just kept getting heavier and heavier. Eventually, I decided I had tried hard enough. I began dropping the bales in front of the doorstep and leaving them there. My dad had to come out of the barn to take the bale back to the barn to its final home. After a few repetitions of this, my dad said to me, "Buddy, it's important in life that you do everything that you can do to make it easier for the next guy in line." That was as close to reprimanded as I wanted to be, so I made sure to take each bale as far as I could. At the time, I'm sure I hated the advice. I know we don't like admitting it when we realize our parents were right, so I'm here to say it for all of us, that they did know what they were talking about. I have learned that engineering and technical sciences are selfless professions that demand hard work in order to protect and serve the population, the environment, and global society. We work hard to ensure that the next person, whether they be a customer, a user of a disease-curing drug, or the drinker of clean water, is set up for the best possible outcome. It is our job to help people achieve whatever great thing they accomplish. It is our job to make others' lives easier. My second story happened 5 years ago. When I was a junior in high school, I was in a car accident that burst my L3 vertebrae. Not broke, but burst my vertebrae into dozens of tiny pieces of shrapnel. Any similar combination of bone shards in close proximity to the vulnerable spinal cord often results in paralysis. If any element of my accident was any different, I would not be standing here in front of you today. If that accident had any different of an outcome, and if in that life I were still up here today, I would be sitting. I don't share this story with you because I want you to be sad that it happened or impressed by my recovery, but rather because it amazes me every day how unique each of our life stories are. It amazes me every day that with one little change in each of our lives, we might not have ended up at the same school. One little change in each of our lives and our college experiences would be so starkly different. Maybe better, maybe worse, but I know that I wouldn't want to find out. Our journeys to this point have made us who we are. What I've learned from this story is to appreciate the outstanding journey and all of the people I've met along the way. I continuously stop and think about how wonderful it has been and how lucky I have been to witness it. Everybody has been on their own journey to get here. Every person here brought something different to the school, and in turn, this institution shaped each of us into a different person than we were before. It amazes me that the chance all of us ended up here together is so small. I challenge you to reflect upon your journey here and to be thankful for all of the miracles and the disasters that brought you here as you continue to write your own story. And we have so much to be thankful for. Thank you to all of the faculty and staff of SD Minds who have worked tirelessly to give us the tools we need to succeed. Thank you to the family and the friends who have supported us to get us to this point here today. Thank you to all of those who are here with us in spirit, including my mother. Thank you to the people who have helped write our stories. Congratulations to the class of 2018. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, United States Senator Mike Rounds. Senator Mike Rounds was sworn into the United States Senate on January 6, 2015. He has served on several committees, including the Senate Armed Services, Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, Veterans Affairs, the Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship and Environment, and Public Works. Before being elected to the Senate, Rounds served as the 31st governor of South Dakota from 2003 to 2011, and he was elected to the South Dakota State Senate 5 times from 1991 to 2000. In 1995, his colleagues selected him to serve as Senate Majority Leader, a position that he held for 6 years. During his time in state government, Rounds was committed to growing the economy, keeping taxes low, and strengthening South Dakota families. A lifelong South Dakotan, Senator Rounds was born in Huron and is the eldest of 11 siblings. He earned a bachelor's degree in political science from South Dakota State University. In the private sector, Senator Rounds has built a successful insurance and real estate business with offices throughout the state. He and his wife, Jean, currently reside in Fort Pierre. They are the proud parents of 4 grown children and 9 grandchildren. Please join me in welcoming United States Senator Mike Rounds.
Thank you. They didn't tell me that I would have to follow Gina. Didn't she do just absolutely a great job? Nice job. Well, I just first of all want to say thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me just share with you that it is great to see the parents and the families, the friends and the teachers that are here with us, and especially our graduates. I feel extremely honored to be here to help celebrate this achievement and this very special day with all of you. All of us can be very proud of all of our graduates that are here, first of all because of the degrees that you've made, but second of all because of your hard work and your perseverance. It doesn't happen without hard work and perseverance. But before I go much farther, I just want to let everybody know that I truly understand that one of the worst things a commencement speaker can do is to talk too long. I see a whole lot of nods out here. You know, when you look back, there's been some really good history of some folks that have done a nice job of that. Back in the 1940s, Wyoming Governor Nellis Smith, he stood up at the University of Wyoming commencement and said, "You done good," and then he sat down. Clarence Darrow once also gave a 3-word commencement speech. He said, "Survive, survive, survive," and then he sat down. I'll try to be short, but I won't be quite that short. But I sincerely hope that you already know that you've done much more than done good in earning a degree from this excellent university. In the next few minutes, I hope I can give you a few ideas that will help you do more than just survive, survive, survive the future. The first thing we should do today is very important. There are many people here, and some not here today, who we should thank because they have done so much for you. Of course, the people who raised you deserve the greatest thanks. They sacrificed so much to give you what you needed to become an adult. But the most important gift to you was their unconditional love. They never gave up on you. With the rest of your family, your friends, and your teachers and faculty here at the School of Mines and Technology, they have helped you to learn the skills, the knowledge, and the values that you need to be successful. I also want to take a moment to recognize the important and often underappreciated role of research and development, which you all have been a part of here at the School of Mines and Technology. In your fields, continuing to invest in R&D so that we can continue to advance and make improvements is vital to our nation's future. And it is an area that I believe the federal government has room for significant improvement. Investing in research and development not only leads to breakthroughs and advancements that improve our lives, it creates jobs, strengthens our economy, and keeps us competitive on a global playing field. The bottom line, we need more of it, research and development. It is critically important that we give greater priority to research and development projects at our labs and our universities. This will allow us to build upon the strong educational foundation that you have built over the past few years and take it to new heights. We may have challenges ahead of us as a nation, but I firmly believe that America's best days are ahead of us. With you as leaders and the right tools available to you, we can and we will reach new levels of success not even thought of today. We should all be excited about what the future holds for all of you and for our great nation with you at the helm. That said, to help you do more than just merely survive in life, I want to give you 3 pieces of advice. First, at critical points in your lives, do not be afraid to take thoughtful, well-analyzed risks. The history of America and South Dakota is full of people who were successful because they were not afraid to be risk takers. Even if they had more failures than successes, they continued to take thoughtful, well-analyzed risks. All of these people didn't do what was popular or cool. They didn't do what the crowd told them to do. They followed their own intelligence and their own logic. They thought for themselves and created what they wanted to do instead of just going along with everyone else. And they used their failures as motivation to try something different. And just as importantly, to try harder. In the middle of the 1800s, a young lawyer lost just as many local and state campaigns as he won. But we don't remember him for the losses. We remember Abraham Lincoln as one of our greatest presidents. At the turn of the century, another man wasted most of his time tinkering with gadgets that he created. And more than 90% of his inventions were total failures. But we remember Thomas Edison for the risks that he took that were successful. In baseball, there was a man who struck out 1,330 times in his career, and that was a record that stood for 40 years. But we remember Babe Ruth not for his strikeouts, but for the home runs that he hit. And in the 1950s, the president of a typewriter company announced that he believed his company would probably never sell enough of a new electronic gizmo to ever make a profit on them. But he took a risk and let researchers continue working on the machine that today we call the personal computer, the forerunner to what many of you have in your hand right now in the iPhone or another phone. It is the same when you look at the history of our state, our local communities, and our families. In business, in government, and in their personal lives, our ancestors made better lives for the next generation with their their hard work and by taking thoughtful, well-analyzed risks. Because you live in a great country, you have the freedom to do that as well. The second piece of advice is about how you approach and live your life. It is attitude. If you look for obstacles, you will find them, but if you look for opportunities, you will also find them and create even more. I'm not talking about just optimism versus pessimism. I'm talking about the way you approach every day of your life. It is true that you are going to have wonderful days when everything seems to work well and all is good. And you are going to have some horrible days when outside forces will make your day miserable. But 95% of your days are somewhere in between, and it will be up to you to make it a good day or a bad day with the decisions you make and the interaction that you have with other people. That's my second to the last piece of advice to you, and that is to choose to have a positive problem-solving attitude. You have to choose it to have a positive problem-solving attitude. Because of your education, you have the skills, you have the abilities, you have the knowledge, you have the tools to remove obstacles, to solve problems and create opportunities and happiness for yourself and the people that you love. And if you're missing any part of any of those qualities, you can get what you need, because in these past 17 years or more of schooling, you've learned how to learn. You know how to educate yourself. That makes you unstoppable. If you choose to have a positive problem-solving attitude, you are unstoppable. My last piece of advice comes from my dad. Maybe you've heard of him, Grandpa Don, as we call him, but Don Rounds. He passed away a few weeks ago. Now, as you heard, I'm the oldest of 11. I also have 2 stepbrothers and a stepsister. Now, if you're the oldest, and by the way, I'm the oldest, every once in a while you're expected to babysit. I was never a good babysitter. I think I would have unanimous consent among my siblings on that. But there's another part of being the oldest that's kind of neat as well, because you get to do some things that the others don't. And one of the things that I used to be able to do was to go along with my dad sometimes when he would do commencement exercises. He was a speaker. He spoke at the National Governors Conference at one point. He would do a lot of safety meetings. But he was noted as being a motivational speaker, but he did a lot of commencements in the 1960s. And there were times that because I was the oldest, I could go with him. Now, the 1960s was a time when it wasn't cool to be square. And according to the trendy bunch back then, being a square meant conventional, boring, inhibited, and even nerdy. I see smiles out there. Definitely not with it. So my dad would tell the graduates about the real meaning of square to him and to his generation. These are your grandmas and your grandpas. To them and his generation, being square was a good thing. You were honest, so you could look at people square in the eye. And when you worked your way out of debt, you became square with the world. You stood for square for what you believed in. And if someone was hungry, you gave him a square meal. He told graduates that they should be square because square really meant being honest, fair, genuine, upright, straightforward, and ethical, as in always giving other people a square deal. Now, that phrase, the square deal, was coined by President Teddy Roosevelt. It was his philosophy that we should not grant any special favors to any group of Americans, but to be fair to everyone. That's the essence of what America should be. So my dad would stand up there on the podium and invite the graduates to be squares for the rest of their lives. Today, my dad and I make that same invitation to you. It's not just okay to be square. It's great to be square. Congratulations to all of you graduates, and may the good Lord bless you and keep you for the rest of your lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Rounds. The South Dakota School of Mines and Technology operates under the authority of the South Dakota Board of Regents. This morning, we are pleased to have Regent Joan Wink with us to represent the board. Please join me in welcoming Regent Wink.
Thank you, everyone. President Rankin, Dr. Rankin back there, I saw you. Senator Rounds, special guests, faculty, staff, families, and mostly students. On behalf of the Board of Regents, I am delighted to be here to congratulate you and wish you well. You know, I was thinking, sitting here, that President Rankin and Senator Rounds and I have a lot in common. All three of us grew up on the Missouri River. They were going to school, as I understand it, down in Pierre and Fort Pierre, while I went to school in Mobridge. But I also spent a lot of time of my childhood on our ranch in Meade County. And one thing you'll notice about kids who grew up on the Missouri River is they never know what time it is. We are either an hour late or an hour early because the state is divided into our two different time zones. However, we Missouri River kids have deep understandings about the complex notions about East River and West River. And you know how those East River people are. And you know how those West River people are. So I can imagine with President Rankin and Senator Rounds, President Rankin grew up in Fort Pierre and Senator Rounds in Pierre, they probably were thinking, you know how those Fort Pierre people are, or you know how those Pierre people are. But all of this West River and East River knowledge came back to haunt me when I first met my husband at a dance on our first night of undergraduate experience. We were only 18, we didn't know each other, and he asked me to dance. I vividly recall our first nervous conversation. I foolishly asked him where he was from, and he told me he was from a farm in Iowa. And since I was from a ranch in South Dakota, I knew there was nothing worse than a farm in Iowa. Actually, we had a delicate conversation after this about which church, which political party, but I really remember thinking, no way am I asking this guy if his dad belonged to the Farm Bureau or the Farmers Union. Incidentally, we didn't match on anything, and that was 56 years ago. So I've just completed my first year in the Board of Regents, and the good news is, honestly, that I find my colleagues on the board to be a great group of people, and I'm honored and blessed to be a part of such a group. And I consider this sort of like the harvest of my career. However, the bad news is on that I still cannot get all my buddies on the board all of the time to vote the way I want them to vote. So, Senator Rounds, maybe you have some advice for me on how I can handle it. I did ask Speaker Wink, and he said, I got nothing. So during the first year, I was assigned to be a liaison from the Board of Reps with you. And I've fallen in love with this place. It's a magical place, and you students have been just fabulous with me. Motivated, bright, committed, and you're kind. Many times this year you've gone out of your way to be kind to me, and I appreciate that. And I've also learned something very important. I can still spell, and I can still pronounce Dr. Pushinsky's name. And I notice his eyes still twinkle. I learned this is only a one-year assignment from the board to represent them with you. And next year I will be assigned to Black Hills State University, and I love them also. And just because I'm signed over there, that doesn't mean I love you less. You can still call me. Your representative next year will be Jim Thayers of Aberdeen. He's a really good guy, and he knows lots of stuff. Well, actually, I know lots of stuff too, but Jim and I know very different stuff, and I think that's really good for the board. Families, I've got to give you a shout out. You made it, and we honor your sacrifices. Your babies soon are really, really going to leave you, and we know you hate that, and we know you love it. Now, if your experiences are anything like ours families, what happens is when the kids first graduate, they're like boomerangs. They go out, then they come back. Then they go out, and then they come back. So don't buy that new furniture yet. And I promise you, they're still going to leave their pets with you. Incidentally, we right now have 3 grandkids in 3 different universities in 3 different states, and their mama is working on her PhD at a different university. So all of this learning continues, and that's the good news. Graduates, congratulations. I wish you the very best on behalf of the Board of Regents, and I want to wish you a Feliz Cinco de Mayo. Happy May 5th. Now, you don't know this, but I used to be a nice Spanish teacher, and if you think you get to leave here without knowing about Cinco de Mayo, you just don't know me. You see, Cinco de Mayo is a celebration of one day in a long struggle for independence for Mexico. It was a day they kicked the French out of Puebla, Mexico. And from now on, graduates, I have an assignment for you. Every time that Cinco de Mayo rolls around, I want you to remember and celebrate your special day, your special graduation. And I want you to remember one person who helped you grow to lead an independent life. And every day on Cinco de Mayo, I want you to call that person and thank them for the rest of your life. I wish each of you a very bright and shiny superhighway of life, even though I can guarantee, like Senator Rounds did, there are going to be potholes. And we of my generation have carelessly left a few problems strewn away on that highway, problems for you to solve. But learning to work your way around these detours of life and detours on the highway are all part of it. If there's one thing I've learned on my long journey of life, it is that human connections are at the heart of all we do. And now on behalf of the Board of Regents, and by the authority vested in me by the Constitution of the State of South Dakota, I hereby delegate to President James Rankin the right to confer degrees and diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining, contingent upon the completion of all requirements.
Thank you, Regent Wink. Will the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy degrees please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all of the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations and responsibilities thereto appertaining, contingent upon the completion of all requirements. Dr. Patricia Mann, Vice President for Student Development and Dean of Students, will present the degree candidates.
I will read only the names of those degree candidates who are present this morning. Those who were unable to attend but whose names are listed in the commencement program will be awarded their diplomas in absentia. We welcome and encourage your applause for each graduate, but we ask you to refrain from using air horns and other noisemakers so that we may preserve decorum and respect for the graduates, their families, and our visitors. As the graduates line up to receive their diplomas, families and guests are invited to come to the front to take pictures as the graduates shake hands and march across the stage. Candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Engineering will be congratulated by your major professors, Dr. Richard Sinden, head of the Department of Chemistry and Applied Biological Sciences, Dr. Jan Pashinsky, Vice President for Research, and Dr. Dimitris Kouras, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Jessica Janice Evans. Dr. Linda DeVoe, Major Professor for Jessica, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Jessica Janess Evans. Tao Shu. Dr. Hao Fong, Major Professor for Tao, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Tao Shu. Candidate for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Geology and Geological Engineering will be congratulated by your major professor, Dr. Lori Anderson, head of the Department of Geology and Geological Engineering, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouras. Skylar J. Borglum. Dr. Larry Stetler, Major Professor for Schuyler, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Skylar J. Borglum. Candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering will be congratulated by your major professors, Dr. Kareem Musi, Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouras. Kayode Hejaji. Dr. P.T. Tukaraja and Dr. Hosro Shabazi, Major Professors for Coyote, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Coyote Hajaji. Walaling Mesale Nikshi. Dr. Randy Hoover, Major Professor for Walaling, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Walaling Mesale Nikshi. Candidate for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Nanoscience and Nanoengineering will be congratulated by your major professor, program coordinator, Dr. Steve Smith, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouras. Fen Zhang. Dr. Zheng Tao Zhu, Major Professor for Fen, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Fen Zheng. That concludes the presentation of the doctoral degrees.
Will the master's degree candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the South Dakota Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree Master of Science with all of the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations thereto appertaining, contingent upon the completion of all requirements.
Throughout the program, you will see graduates wearing special cords or stoles representing their fraternities, sororities, and national honor societies. The navy, gold, and white cords are worn by graduates who have completed the Mines Advantage Professional Development Program. Our 16 military veterans are wearing red, white, and blue cords in recognition of their service. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Atmospheric and Environmental Sciences will be congratulated by Program Director Dr. William Capehart, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kuras. Michaela Elizabeth Halverson. Mitchell Joseph Kern. Clint Leeper. Nathan Linen. Emily Catherine Stickney. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Sinden, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kuras. Lauren Brown Estridge Swanzig. Brianna Mohammed Jaward. Niala Motlog. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Chemical Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Rob Winter, Head of the Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kuras. Nathaniel Elliott Chapman. Ellen Edzai Kadzomoyo. Shannon Kate Morse. John Nickpan. Donald Sidney Skillings. Ambrose Tingen. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Kinner, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kuras. Tope Aniburoe Akinmo Laden. Cooper Joseph Bowen. Kimberlyn Cameron. Marcus Aaron Cannon. Jeremy Jerome Feist. Kara Elizabeth Gromiko. Mackenzie Lee Kenny. Charles John Kiefer III. Hoyoen Joy Lee. Alexis Long. Mohammed Majur Ilahi. Drew Allen Vance. Hunter Scott Vincent. Joseph Michael Wilder. Mark Yeski. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Computational Sciences and Robotics will be congratulated by Dr. Kyle Riley, Head of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Zachary DeFar Crandall. Jonathan David Dixon. Jonathan will also be congratulated by his father, Professor David Dixon. Candidate for the degree Master of Science in Construction Engineering and Management will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Kinner, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Henry Dion Gokin. Christopher Jankowski. Gary Ray Pierce. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Electrical Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Magesh Rajan, Head of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Mohammed Rakibul Hassan. Asif Hassan. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Engineering Management will be congratulated by Dr. Jeffrey Wolstad, Head of the Department of Industrial Engineering, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Jeremy Cheyenne Glenn Adams. Zachary Greger. Niala Motlog. Charlie Russell. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Geology and Geological Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Anderson, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Robert Huber. Shopika Podale. Candidate for the degree Master of Science in Materials Engineering and Science will be congratulated by Program Coordinator Dr. John Keller, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Aladimeje Aladepo. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering will be congratulated by Professor Musi, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Yosef Kigini. Joseph Newkirk. Nathan Ryan Scholl. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Mining Engineering and Management will be congratulated by Dr. Lance Roberts, Head of the Department of Mining Engineering, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Rotimi Akinnoye. Donald Edward Hall. Venkata Anish Konya. Marie Hamill Ojeda. Sonmi Jeremiah Homortilewa. Yong Pan. Candidate for the degree Master of Science in Paleontology will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Anderson, Dr. Pashinsky, and Dr. Kouros. Brock Kokish. That concludes the presentation of master's degrees. Let's hear it one more time for all of our master's graduates.
Will the candidates for Bachelor of Science degrees please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree Bachelor of Science with all the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations and responsibilities thereto appertaining.
And graduates, you may be seated until Dr. Kowalski calls you forward. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Applied Biological Sciences will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Sinden and Dr. Kouros. Sarah Ann Dirks. Mary Edwards. Alana Marie McLaughlin. Ari Marcy. Stanislaw Elijah Nikolaev, cum laude. Jacob Alexander Pallas. Cole Sawyer. Andrew David Utek. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Applied and Computational Mathematics will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Riley and Dr. Kouros. Arjun Iyengar, cum laude. Noah Brubaker, magna cum laude. Austin Gill, summa cum laude. Brian Wesley Heeman. Trevor Charles Nicholas. Elliot Charles Smith. Daniel Ralph Tronstad, summa cum laude. Ryan Alexander Wagner, summa cum laude. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Rinter and Dr. Kouros. Abdurrahman Al-Harbi. Gabriel John Bierke. Kirk Blumenthal. Emily Elizabeth Brossert. Marshall Philip Brownfield. Joshua Thomas DeVaz. Aaron Christopher Grimm. Tessa Ann Hatchesky. Krista Haley Hollister. Zachary Neil Huber. April Rose Jerkis. Kevin Paul Myrose. Dalton J. Meester, cum laude. Shannon Kate Morse. Carrie Radke, cum laude. Riley William Rogers. Michael Paul Shimmick. Lars Scow. Danielle Taylor. Dylan Webert. Daniel Eitrin. Oh, you're good. Okay. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemistry will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Sinden and Dr. Kouris. Grant Matthews. Jacob Alexander Dallas. Brooke Ann Remley. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Kinner and Dr. Kouris. Jacob Allen Alderman. Isaac Edmund Bleak, magna cum laude. Eric Thomas Bowl. Gideon Grant Bodie. Andrew Paul Brown, magna cum laude. Megan Elizabeth Brown. Carson Lee Burnett. Rachel Caesar. Alexander Hazley Klatt. Jordan Douglas Makalea Copeland. Daniel Ruben Duarte. Taylor Marie Ailes. Gina Marie Elmore, cum laude. Scott Ferrier. Fritz Willem Gildemeister. Karen Allison Goodrich. Zachary Dean Hansen. Spencer Wayne Heidbrink, summa cum laude. Drew Hinker. Michael Hipsch. Casey Huntley. Anna Rachel Larson, summa cum laude. Skylar Larson, magna cum laude. Benjamin Love. Dalton Lyons, cum laude. Joshua Robert Manu. Marcus McKinney. Emily Louise Newton, magna cum laude. Justin Glenn Peebler. Drew Pitt, magna cum laude. Tad Roland Radke. Riley Rohde. Christopher Ivan Romenko. Amir Saleh. Matthew Peter Seitzer. Anthony George Sherman. Destin William Spellman. Shane Terrence Starr. Clarissa Ann Stevenson. Dominic Daniel Taliulu. Derek Thompson. Derek Thomas. Hunter Volk. John Charles Wagner. Mark Tastad Wiley. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Rajan and Dr. Kouris. Matthew John Aiken. Colin Chick, cum laude. Zachary Aaron Christie, magna cum laude. Stephen Link, summa cum laude. Nicholas Brian Rago, summa cum laude. Josh Schweigert. Lucas Joshua Simonson, cum laude. Eric Vandervoort. Samuel Vanilla. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Science will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Riley and Dr. Couris. John Andrew Colton. Sheldon Pio Coughlin, cum laude. Jake Davidson. Kendra Catherine DeZiel. Wyatt Engel. Benjamin Gregory Garcia, cum laude. Daniel Lloyd Hodgen. Jared Johnson. Logan Wade Lemke, magna cum laude. Katie Macmillan. Kyle Macmillan. Zachary Owen. Kenneth David Petrie, summa cum laude. Micah Picasso. Savoy Schuler. Akshay Singh. Andrew Stelter, magna cum laude. Riley Alexa Sutton. Jessica Marie Thompson. Cassidy J. Volmer. Samuel Craig Williams. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Rajan and Dr. Couris. Remington Stanley Bullis. Blake Klaus. Cody Aaron Cronin. Brian J. Gallagher. Travis Wayne Grablander. Andrew Heeb. Christina Ann Jocks. Edward Knutson. Derek James Lehman, cum laude. Eric Richard Neal. Ryan Newman. Mojo Laolale Olalekan Ojaawa. Okay. Marco Pascolo. Calvin Christopher Peterson. Curtis Nelson Plum, Jr. Heather Lileen Rogers. Theodore Schopper, cum laude. Zachary Ryan Schroetberger. Timothy Andrew Scott. Aaron Timothy Shirk. Logan Todd Torgerson. Jareth Watson. Duncan Weisbrod. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geological Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Anderson and Dr. Kouris. Todd Michael Anderson, cum laude. Benjamin Duvier. Megan Jean Johnson. Sterling Richard, magna cum laude. Nikayla Steen. Brendan David Steeb. Ryan Jesse Wright. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geology will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Anderson and Dr. Kouris. Zach Berghorst. Brian Bormas. Hallie Louise Bauer, summa cum laude. Benjamin Cathy. Juan Correal. Zachary Hare. Mary Labor. Edward Hunter Lang. Brian Anthony Loters. Kelly Eileen Lubers. Jordan Mason, magna cum laude. Trevor Mount. Quentin Olson. Kristen Marie Pratcher. Catherine Marie Ross. Andrew Russell Shepard. Joshua Smith, cum laude. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering and Engineering Management will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Wallstad and Dr. Kuras. Ziad Zafan. Douglas James Bouchand. Ben Broker. Edward Cardenas. James Carver. DJ Collier. Abigail Elena Fuller, cum laude. Stacy Lynn Hull. Devin Ingvelson. Bryce Allen Kalhoff. Reese Magnuson. Bennett Madek. Jacob Cole Schroeder. Nicholas Gandolfi Stollenberger. Maxwell Grayson Sakura, cum laude. Kevin Thompson. Jessica Lauren Ty. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Interdisciplinary Sciences will be congratulated by Dr. Allison Gilmore, Head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, and Dr. Kuras. Brennan Elizabeth Heavey. Joshua Jassini. Genevieve Kennedy. Brian Orr. Molly Peterson. Jamie Reisenberg. Brendan Sky Sorstad, magna cum laude. Matthew James Siegel. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering will be congratulated by Professor Dr. Musi and Dr. Koras. James Aaron Anderson. Luke Daniel Bosky, cum laude. Brungart. Skylar Adam Brungart. Chad Gary Boos, magna cum laude. Michael Bush, cum laude. Corwin Paul Coldman. Cody Dwayne Cooper. Darren Michael Dimmitt. Sean Thomas Early. Ryan Marie Ekblad. Jacob Fonkert. Garrett William Funk. Kevin Grimstead. Trevor Gunderson. James Hahn. Andrew Holmberg, cum laude. Aaron Iverson, magna cum laude. Trevor John Jerome, cum laude. Devin Jones. Joshua Caleb Heyer. Austin Ray Call, summa cum laude. Sean William Kittler. Noah Robert Klum, cum laude. Eric Krebs. Hans Peter Leon. Brandon David Lind, summa cum laude. Jordan Lisk. Samuel Philip Magnuson. Francis L. Marceau, summa cum laude. Jacob Jeffrey Maxfield. Cobb Meyer. Luis Antonio Musi Casaneda. Luis is the son of Professor Musi. Nathan Alexander Patterson. Bo Paulson. Jason M. Peterson. Kari Pulley, magna cum laude. Carson Taylor Pertel. James Thomas Rossell. David Henry Reinhardt. Steve Rosier. William Brian Rood. Jory Nicole Sandin. James Sellen, cum laude. Tanner Reed Shipman, cum laude. Colton Shipper, cum laude. Wesley Isaiah Skaugen. Joshua Thomas. Garrett Troop. Michael Dale Vanderwall, magna cum laude. Lyle Vaz, summa cum laude. Aaron Vogel, summa cum laude. Eric Voleski. Samuel Cavett Volmer. Albert Warnes, magna cum laude. Samuel Wente. Marcus Wiebe. Joshua Warren Whitty. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Metallurgical Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Michael West, Head of the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, and Dr. Kouris. Joseph Bauer, summa cum laude. DJ Funk. Alyssa Gebhardt. Brandon Galinda. Catherine Ann Hines, cum laude. Darren James, cum laude. Robin Evan German, magna cum laude. Roy Daniel Kesterson, magna cum laude. Alex Lewis. Elizabeth Reed Montemayor. Daniel Nagel. Melissa Ann Nealon, cum laude. Joseph Steele O'Brien. Eduardo Evan Perez. Seth Stephen Petra. Robert Seivert, summa cum laude. Abigail Ray Sherwood, summa cum laude. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mining Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Roberts and Dr. Kouris. Jared Glenn Bamer. Jared Glenn Bamer. Seth Herrick Davis. Okay. He's here? Yeah. David J. Fielding. Oh. William Heasley. Richard Paul Hovdenis. Peter Barrett Hunter. Corey James Notneris. Daniel Kelfkin. No. Sunhee Lee, cum laude. Garrett Eugene Mack. Ethan Marcu, cum laude. Cale Evan Moore. Jackson Roberts. Bobby Jean Strange. Charles Jack Zeritis. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Physics will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Schnee and Dr. Kouris. Franklin Alexander Lemons. Shami Senarath. That concludes the presentation of our baccalaureate diplomas.
Will the degree recipients please rise? I offer to you my personal congratulations and good wishes on behalf of the entire School of Mines family. Bachelor's degree recipients are now permitted to move the tassel on your mortarboard from right to left. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, Class of 2018. You may be seated. The School of Mines has consistently been rated as one of the top schools in the country for veterans and military service members. And today we are honored to have 16 veterans receive their diplomas. It's not in my script, but would those graduates who are veterans please stand up? Thank you. We also have an active Reserve Officer Training Corps that prepares leaders in engineering and science who earn commissions as officers in the United States Army. Today, 2 graduates will receive both a Bachelor of Science degree and a commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Elvis Coronado, head of our Department of Military Science, will administer the oath of commissioning to Cadets Sam Wente and Carson Pertel. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Carson Taylor Pertel,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States,
and the rank of second lieutenant,
in the rank of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
I will discharge the duties of my office that I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
As we close our commencement ceremony, I want to thank the University Brass Choir under the direction of Dr. Haley Armstrong, the Commencement Committee, and others who contribute to make this event such a success. We now request that you remain standing until the colors have been retired and the academic recessional has been completed. Thank you for joining us today, and again, congratulations to the class of 2018.
Permission to retire the colors.
Retire the colors.
Congratulations, class of 2018. Hard Rockers, you're dismissed.